Why should we hire you?
Once again, we answer the million-dollar question. What are the trucking lies recruiters love to tell you? Here's more answers for you. Also, make sure to watch part 1 to learn more.
Detention pay. This one here pisses me off. Drives me absolutely insane. And it has since I've been a truck driver. Some companies will tell you they pay detention pay. They're usually lying most of the time. Some companies will tell you, no, we don't pay detention pay. Well, at least they're being honest about it. Here's the kicker to that. When I went through the brokerage classes and I learned about contracts and stuff like that, most of these companies, especially on contract freight, not necessarily on board freight, but on contract freight, they have it worked into their contract that if their trailer's held up, they charge a certain rate. And get this crap, you want to get real frustrated. The normal going rate for a dry box trailer is anywhere between 100 and 150 per hour. That trailer's held up. Why can't they give me $10 an hour of it? Why can't they give me $12 an hour of it? I know it's their equipment, but I'm held up. The going rate for a reefer is even higher than that. The going rate for a reefer would be upwards of 180 an hour, 190 an hour. But a reefer is held up. And I don't think I've ever gotten detention pay at a reefer company. They've always got an excuse. And normally the companies that do tell you they will pay detention pay, they got all these loopholes you got to jump through and all this crap you got to do to try to get it. By the time you get it, you've done so much work trying to get it that it almost wasn't worth getting. And that's always been another gripe of mine. They got a Qualcomm. They know when I arrived. They know when I left. Shouldn't go any further than that at any company, but it does. Where they usually get into lying at is they'll tell you, okay, we'll pay you detention pay if we get paid detention pay. Well, if you're with a mega carrier, I can say for sure they're getting their detention pay because they have a rate that's in their contract. They're just not passing it on to you. They're keeping it all. Now, some of you out there might say they own the truck, they own the equipment. It should go to them. The majority of it should. I agree with that. But here's the problem. When I'm at a shipper or receiver and I'm held up, I'm live unloading. I am not free to leave. I cannot leave. If I'm not free to leave and I'm not getting paid, what do you call that? Think about it. What do you call that?
Another tactic is with that company is they pay bonuses, and your bonuses is based off your productivity, and productivity is 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So even if you're not working because you're taking earned home time, they're gonna count that earned home time against you. At the end of his time, he's gonna be down at the bottom rung. When he left, he was probably at the top of the rung, meaning his quarterly bonus would have been $1,000. But because he took earned home time, he's only gonna get $250 because he fell to the bottom of the rung, right? So basically they penalize you $750 for taking the time off. So did they tell you the truth or did they lie? Okay, that issue it rubs me so wrong. And it's because I know everything that I'm telling you to be factual because I was in that situation, I know, okay? But it's not them, it's not that company. That's an industry standard type of thing.
And they'll tell you, yeah, I know we hired y'all on for that local job down the lower Mudtown, Alabama. We just found out we lost that contract, or that job isn't available anymore, or you don't meet the requirements for that job. Whatever. One of 1,000 reasons. We think you're a good driver, we won't give you a job, but the only thing we have available right now is OTR. Well, your first instinct is to tell them, piss off, just send me back home. Then he proceeds to tell you, you can go on back home, but we're not going to pay your way home. And since you haven't finished orientation, so you got to sign that final sheet to finish orientation, well, we're not going to pay you for orientation either. So you walk out the door broke at Sioux Falls, wherever, and you figure out yourself how to get home. Or you can take our OTR job. And they get a lot of drivers that way. Beat me, I grab their truck. The first time I could get by the house, they get the truck back. It's a company that do you that way, God knows what they'll do to you. Other thing they do is they'll hire a regional and they'll say, oh, you got this regional job, you only drive in that region. Like Southeast, for example, they'll say, south of I-40, east of 65, that's your region, that's all you're going to drive in. you'll get a call inevitably one day. Driver, we got this load to pick up in Atlanta and goes to New York City. You say, well, I'm a regional driver. I might say, well, we ain't got nobody to haul it. You're always available, and you do work for this company, so pull up the bootstrap, driver, let's go. And you still bug with them, and then they promptly threaten to fire you if you don't take it. And then once they get in, then that'll start happening more and more and more often. Next thing you know, you're an over-the-road driver.
Here's the other thing, going back to the wages. Somebody says we pay 68 cents a mile, company drivers, we pay 68 cents a mile for solo. Well, that sounds like a lot of money, and it kind of is. But it's not a lot of money if you're only running 1,800 miles a week, or you're on a regional route, or you're on a dedicated route that if that dedicated customer doesn't need a truckload that day, then you don't have any work because your company says, well, you're dedicated, we're not putting you on line haul because we got plenty of line haul drivers. That's where all of this matters. And so, like when I went to GP Transco the first week there, I ran 1,700 miles. I called up the operations manager. I'm like, hey bro, this ain't gonna work for me. And he was like, hold on, let me look you up. He did, and he was like, yeah, that doesn't work for me either. I'll get you a new driver manager because I don't want to lose you. And because I went there because they were like, hey, we're going to run you like a scalded dog. And if you go to that company where you're consistently at 2,600, 2,800, 3,000 miles a week, then yeah, whatever you're getting paid is adding up. So that's the pay thing. I had a company, and I want to say, talk to the recruiters, because I talk to recruiters. I'll call up a company recruiter just to see what they say. I think it was Halvor, and they were like, I was like, well, how much do you guys pay? And they're like, oh yeah, we pay 45 cents a mile. And this was back when people are already up in the like high 50s, 60s. They're like, yeah, we pay 45 cents a mile. I'm like, nah, that's not market. And they're like, yeah, but what we do is you get a bonus every quarter of 10 cents a mile. So whatever miles you ran that quarter, we give you a bonus. And I said, oh, so you're basically saying 55 cents a mile, except you don't pay it when it's due. Well, no, you know, it's there. And I was just like, do you really think, because they paid this quarterly, right? Do you really think if you quit today and you had already run, I don't know, let's say 5,000 miles that quarter, if you quit and you weren't there at the end of the quarter, you were going to get that $500 for the bonus? No. That was a deferred comp that you were never going to see because you would always be 90 days behind. So that's how this company basically screwed guys out of their, you know, well, I say they screwed them. If you went there under that system, you kind of are asking for that.